So if you're like us here at Youtini, you're hyped about the launch of the Star Wars High Republic era and you are devouring all of the new releases. From the incredible Light of the Jedi to the wonderful A Test of Courage to the fantastic Star Wars High Republic #1 comic, and of course the upcoming releases like Into the Dark, The Rising Storm, Out of the Shadows, and future installments of the comic series. It is a lot of content and it is all fantastic. And as exciting as all of it is, it can be confusing to keep track of so many new characters that are being introduced. Fear not though, because Youtini is here to help. Hi everyone, I'm Nathan Emery, content creator here at Youtini, and I'm going to be your guide to the Jedi of the High Republic era. And a quick reminder, if you're enjoying this content and would like to see more, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified every time we come out with a great new video on the Star Wars Expanded Universe. With that said, let's jump into the Jedi of the High Republic. For quick reference, the High Republic era spans from about 300 before the Battle of Yavin to about 82 before the Battle of Yavin, which is kind of considered the height of the Galactic Republic and the Jedi Order. And for reference, the Phantom Menace occurs around 32 before the Battle of Yavin, so 50 years after the High Republic era. So let's talk about the Jedi of this fantastic era. So first up, we're going to go through the Jedi introduced in Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. And starting it off, we've got Loden Greatstorm, who's a Twi'lek male Jedi Master. He wields a yellow lightsaber, and a lot of people say he has a great sense of humor and also is a great teacher, which are traits you can see in this book. Next to be introduced is Greatstorm's Padawan Bell Zettifar. Now Zettifar is normally stationed on Elphrona Outpost, but during the Great Disaster, he works on the surface with his master on Hetzel Prime. And Zettifar is a human male Jedi Padawan who wields a green lightsaber. And next up we've got Buryaga Agaburi, who's actually a Wookiee Jedi Padawan. He's the Padawan of Master Nib Assek, and Assek actually learned Shruuk to be able to communicate with his Padawan. Of course though, this means that there is going to be a language barrier with a lot of the other Jedi in this era. Nonetheless, Buryaga proves critical to saving the survivors of the Great Disaster in Light of the Jedi. Then we've got fan favorite Avar Kriss, who's a human female Jedi Master. Now she's noble, selfless, strong, and she actually is known for her view of the Force kind of as a song that plays through all living creatures and at all times, and she can kind of reach into that song and listen to it as she's tapping into the Force. And of course, Avar Kriss is on the front and center of Light of the Jedi's cover. Finally, we've got Elzar Mann, a human male Jedi Master. Now Mann is actually controversial in the Jedi Order for his unique use of the Force. He likes to experiment with different Force uses, and he kind of views it as a bottomless sea, whereas Avar Kriss views it as a song to kind of listen to and be tapped into. Mann views it as this bottomless sea that can't be dried up, and so he uses the Force, and he's kind of a lot more Force dependent than other Jedi in situations where they wouldn't necessarily be using the Force. So that does it for the Jedi introduced in Light of the Jedi. And by the way, if you haven't picked that book up, we can get it to you for free. That's right, if you sign up for Audible using the link in the description below, or you head on over to youtini.com/audible once this video is done, you'll get your first audiobook from Audible completely free, no strings attached. And Light of the Jedi is a fantastic first one to pick up. They really went all out with this, with an incredible cast, narration, voice acting, sound effects. It feels like an episode of a TV show. It's amazing. So next up, we've got the fantastic and wonderful young reader's novel, A Test of Courage. So first up, we've got Vernestra Rwoh, who's a Mirialan female Jedi Knight. Now she's the former Padawan of Jedi Master Stellan Gios. Rwoh is actually the youngest Jedi to ever reach knighthood at the age of 15. She's selfless and she's devoted to the cause of the Jedi Order. And second, we've got Imri Kantaros, who's a human male Jedi Padawan to Master Douglas Sanvali. Now Kantaros is on a mission with Rwoh, and the two of them actually kind of get separated from the rest of the group, which is where the title A Test of Courage comes from. Now Kantaros kind of faces some bouts with anger and with thoughts that lead toward the dark side, but ultimately is able to overcome them in this book. That's all for A Test of Courage, so we're going to move on to what we know so far from the High Republic comic series. So first up, we've got Sskeer, who's a Trandoshan male Jedi Master. He's gruff and abrasive, but I mean, he looks really cool, and of course, he's a great Jedi. Now, Sskeer is going to be one of the main characters in the High Republic comics, so get familiar with his name if you're going to be reading that series regularly. Then we've got Keeve Trennis, a human female Jedi Padawan with a double-bladed lightsaber. Now Trennis is Skier's Padawan, and in High Republic #1, she actually faces her trials to become a Jedi Knight. And she's stationed on Starlight Beacon, which if you've read Light of the Jedi or any of the other content, you know is kind of this new station out as a beacon of hope in the Outer Rim. And you may not have gotten a chance to read it yet, so no spoilers here, but we're gonna go through the characters of Into the Dark because you're probably gonna read it and you're probably gonna know what Jedi are in it. So first up, we've got Reath Silas, a human male Jedi Padawan who wields a green lightsaber. He's a Padawan to Master Jorah Mali, and he enjoys spending his time in the archives. He's kind of a learner and doesn't have much of a desire for excitement or adventure. Then we've got Jedi Master Comac Vitus. He's a human male with a blue lightsaber. He's actually a folklorist among the Jedi, and he's kind of similar to Reath in that he prefers to spend time studying over out on trips or on adventures. So on the flip side of Reath, we've got Des Ryden, a Jedi Knight who was the former Padawan of Master Jorah Mali. Now Ryden is pretty much Reath's opposite. He's a Jedi who loves adventure. He's known for his adventuring ways, and because of that, younger Jedi look up to him. Then we've got Master Orla Jareni, an Umbaran female Jedi Master who wields a double-bladed white lightsaber. How cool is that? She actually recently decided to become a Wayseeker, which is a Jedi that kind of works a little bit away from the Order to mediate and to help where needed. So of course there are other Jedi mentioned in these books, and there's even more than this to keep track of, but these are the major players in these books. These are the Jedi you have to know if you're reading any of the High Republic content. And before we wrap up really quick, let's go through the Jedi who are on the Jedi Council at this point in the High Republic. So the title of Grand Master is shared by Yoda, Veeder, and Laru. The High Council also includes Jorah Mali and Stellan Gios, both of whom you've heard mentioned here. So again, these are the major Jedi introduced in the High Republic. These are the major players of the Jedi Order during this era. And I'm sure as books go along, we'll get more and more familiar with them. After all of these names, aside from Yoda, of course, are names we're not really familiar with and we haven't seen before, so it'll take some time to really get used to them as we see them in more media. And one of the most beautiful parts of this High Republic initiative is how each of these Jedi views the Force differently and how we get so much description of how they view the Force. So of course, we're so excited to see where this new era goes. And if you're as excited as we are, don't keep that to yourself. Come share it with us. Head on over to our vibrant and positive Discord community at youtini.com/Discord. It's a beautiful and fun community and a great place to be a part of if you're a fan of the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Thanks for watching, and as always, we are all the Republic.